Proud to invite my classmate. Both of us are in class together. Next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, will be Jonathan Lau, certified speaking professional, will be speaking to us about reimagining leadership for breakthrough success. Jonathan, over to you.
Reimagine leadership. Reimagine leadership. What does that word means to you? Where are you in your state of leadership right now? You know, this word fascinates me, and it's even more fascinating because I'm going to take you on to a journey right now. How many of you had the chance to visit the Orlando, Florida Disney parks? Anyone had a chance to do so? Or any of the theme parks, maybe in Singapore, right? But I'm just curious to find out, how many of you love roller coasters? Whoa, we have got some adrenaline junkies here. Okay, how many of you don't really fancy roller coaster? Okay, looks like a 50-50. Looks like a 50-50. All right, so what happened was, a couple of years I was attending the NSA convention in the United States. And we had a chance to visit some of this. And we went to this place called the Animal Kingdom, right? And in the Animal Kingdom, I saw from afar a beautiful, I study in Switzerland, so obviously I wanted to take a picture, and they said that was the Everest. Beautiful sight. And later, as I walked through the park, I met one of my fellow speakers, Shirley Taylor. And he said, John, you know what? You have got to come and experience the Mount Everest. I said, okay, but experience, I mean, how do you experience, right? Guess what? I found out it was actually a roller coaster ride. And to be honest, you know, I am not really a roller coaster person because it was so highly recommended by Shirley. And for friends that know about Shirley, I said, yeah, if Shirley can do it, I can do it. So there I go. And they say, buckle up? Okay, buckle up. But in my mind, there was a lot of things happening. It was a little bit of anxiety. I'm not sure is this the right thing? You know, sometimes you say, yes, let's do it. And once you're there, is this the best thing to do? All right? So we kind of like went up. So we went up. And it came to a point where this appeared in front of me. The rails are gone. It was still doing pretty okay until I came to this point and it was like, OMG. What is going to happen right now? How many of you can resonate with this kind of emotion? Sometimes you have the best plan in mind, but sometimes you see there was nothing there. And that was when the adventure really started. Then I was pulled back, went to the left, went to the right, and it was all in darkness. So really not sure. And you were just holding on for your dear life. And I was like, oh, please let this be over with. But somehow, the more you still let this be over with, it gets more faster. Lunch here, and you were lunch there. And it was like, okay, this is going to be the last day of my life. And it was really, you know, all kinds of experiences came out. I was really uncertain. There was fear. There was, you know, so many things happening. It was challenging for me even in that moment of darkness. And I want to ask you, even as you relate this to yourself as a leader, as an individual, have you ever gone through times when life is like a roller coaster ride? You know, you achieve some highs, and then unexpectedly, the surprising challenge will appear right before you. Turn to the person on your left and right and just begin to say, how has it been for you in your journey so far? Turn to them and just see, right? If I were to ask you right now, where are you on your leadership journey right now? 1 to 10, how would you rate that? For yourself, be very honest. You know, why we talk about honesty? Using your words, be honest. So, where are you on your personal journey? 1 to 10. And as you reflect on that, you know what, you got a number already? You have a number? All right, be honest here. I mean, you're welcome to share, but you're welcome to just keep it to yourself if you're not comfortable yet. But more importantly, 1 year from now, where would you like that number to be?
Consistently higher.
Okay, you have a number in mind, so wherever you are earlier to wherever you potentially can be, you've got a number? Now, imagine if you're going to be looking at that person 1 year from now. What emotions, feeling will you get to see? What would you see in front of you? If you were to see that same person yourself in 1 year from now, how would that person look like? One minute, have a quick chat with that person on your left and right. What would that person look like in front of you? If you were looking at that one person, what would you notice? What would you experience? What would you see in that person? Very quickly, a 1 minute opportunity. So where you are, where you potentially can be, what difference would you see in that person? You got 10 more seconds. You got 10 more seconds to make that happen. Okay, can I get some quick interaction? How many of you noticed some increase in the numbers? Okay, I see a couple of hands. What kind of emotions, what kind of faces do you see in that person, yourself? What do you see? And what do you think that person did to get to where they are? Did they do something different? Or was it still the same? Or did they do something new that brought them to where they are? Yeah, so I'd like to challenge you, even as you spend the next 2 days here, what phase of yourself will you see in 12 months' time? Haven't taken the insights and moving from where you are to potentially where you can be. So with the time that we have today, I would like to share with you 4 lessons on how you can accelerate and even reimagine leadership. If you're leading a team, if you're leading yourself first, how you can take that next level, right? And let's begin with this thing called grit, right? Grit. So the first insight is this. If you really want to be successful, have a growth mindset. Have a what?
Growth mindset.
I can't hear you.
Growth mindset.
And what does the growth mindset mean to you, right? Growth mindset is an opportunity for you to never cease to learn, to embrace challenges, to really look for new opportunity. You know, recently, I did a kind of like a crazy thing. For those of you who are friends with me on LinkedIn, I did a journey with my daughter, with the 3 friends, so we were supposed to be the chaperone together with my wife. And we went to this ancient city in Bangkok, right? I was supposed to get Sorab there too, but he departed way earlier, right? And the 3 girls, my daughter, she's 19, and they decided to rent this Thai costume, right? So they were kind of like in the picture, and I was like, I mean, since they dressed up, I guess I have to dress up, right? So I kind of like rented, chose the day, because my idea initially was to share some tips. So wherever I go, I will share some tips, you know, on growth mindset. So I did. And I actually forgot one thing that was happening in Bangkok. Does anyone know what was happening in Bangkok 2 weeks ago? One of the hottest weather, 45 to 50 degrees. So I was wearing this very beautiful Thai traditional costume. I was doing, you know, sharing tips in the hottest day of the year. But I suppose the result was fun. Although it was challenging, it was hard, but I had a growth mindset. Hey, you know, let this opportunity not pass by. Let me do something different. Let me try something different, right? And that has helped me. And the other thing I wanted to share on the growth mindset is also building on what Lindsay have shared earlier on relationship. Because one of the opportunities for you is to explore how you can build trust with your circle of community, the people that you are together with, right? I had the opportunity to bond with my daughter during the Bangkok trip. We built trust. And what I've learned is, when you embrace the 4C of trust, when you are competent in your area of expertise, when you show the commitment, you're consistently doing it, and you begin to demonstrate with care. That is going to help you develop trust. How many of you think trust is important in leadership? Woo-hoo, full house. So again, ask yourself, because when you show the 4C of trust, you begin to build credibility. And that's your competence. You begin to have more reliability. People begin to listen to more what you say. And more importantly, you will build a connection when you begin to do more of that. Right? So ask yourself, use this formula. Trust is credibility plus reliability plus connection. And you divide it by a focus on yourself. So the less you focus on yourself, the more you're focusing on other people. Listen well, speak less, learn about them. This is where opportunity. How many of you agree with this? How many of you will want to work on a higher number for yourself? Yeah, starting with that, right? Have a growth mindset and begin to explore the possibility for you. So obviously as a coach, I would like to challenge you. How can you improve your trust score 1 to 10 in the areas of credibility, in the areas of reliability, and in areas of connection? So where you are today, that is your starting point. But where you are in 1 year will depend on what you do moving forward. How many of you are committed to do it? All right, can you give a high five to the person and say, I am committed as you are. Give them a high five and say, I am committed as you are. All right, so make sure that's your commitment buddy next to you as you are going through it. All right, so point number 2. I would like to share about this important element as you reconsider your leadership. Take into consideration the area of resilience, right? Take into the area of resilience. And in resilience, I want to share with you a formula. Even Martin myself, we have known Jack Canfield for many years. And one of the things that it speaks about in the success principle is this formula called E plus R equals to O. Anyone is familiar with this formula? E plus R equals to O. Jody, yes. Martin, for sure. Woohoo. All right. So let me share a story again with this. How many of you love traveling? Anyone had a chance to travel sometime? Okay, all right, good. So most of you are familiar with travel. There was this time I had an opportunity. I'm a basketball fan, NBA basketball fan, right? So I had this opportunity. I was going to New Orleans for a meeting, and I thought, hey, why don't I go to Chicago for an NBA game? I checked the time; it was available. Who's the famous team in Chicago for those who love basketball? Chicago Bulls, right? Yeah, Chicago Bulls. So I got my flight. I planned it up like 9 months ahead. I had a 7 hours buffer. I could arrive Chicago at 12 o'clock. The game is at 7 o'clock. All good. Guess what? Flight delay. Well, you're on the same flight as well, right? Flight delay, right? So because of a spoiled toilet, the plane couldn't take off. It was okay when we took off from Kuala Lumpur, but when I reached Paris, it had to have a detour. And then it had to go to Heathrow. So ding dong, by the time I arrived in Chicago, guess what time? It was 6 o'clock. And the game was 7 o'clock, and it takes me about 1.5 hours to get to the stadium for the game. So I thought, what would you have done in my situation? I mean, it's something that you've been looking forward to, the Chicago Bulls, see them in action, and this thing happened. So sometimes in life is this, right? So events will happen but your events will not determine your outcome. Right? It will not determine your outcome. So guess what? Do you think I would have gone for it? Still okay, right? Around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, so I lose a little bit. So I waited for my luggage. And people were starting to leave one by one. Guess what? The inevitable thing happened. Of all the days, luggage went missing. I think the luggage was still holidaying in Heathrow. Right? It didn't arrive. So I was left in Chicago in the month of April, and it's quite cold. For people who are familiar with Chicago in April, it's still quite cold. I only had a backpack. Yeah, lazy me, decided not to have a hand carry luggage, threw my luggage off for checking, and that didn't work out too well. So end of the story is, I didn't get the luggage, and by the time I had to make the report, it was close to about 8:30. Would you have still gone for the game? How many of you would have still gone for it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I took your advice. Yeah, thanks for clearing your hand. I took your advice. So I went for it, but guess what? Guess who I saw? Who's a famous player in Chicago Bulls? Michael Jordan, right? So guess who I saw? Michael Jordan. The statue. I mean, that was okay. I mean, it was a statue of Jordan and everyone was taking selfie. I said, why not? I mean, that's the least I could do, right? So I still managed to catch about 5 minutes of the game, got into the anxiety of the whole conference. But end of the day, the R is this, right? It is how you respond. Because challenging situations with that, events may happen to you, it's how you respond that determines your outcome. And that brings me to a recent incident. If you're familiar with basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Milwaukee Bucks, during the regular season, they became the #1 seed in the NBA for basketball, for those of you who are fans, right? So they became the top-ranked player in the Eastern Conference. And in round 1, guess what? Very similar to the story that YB shared earlier. I mean, the expectation was for them to win the final, but after round 1, they were knocked out by the Miami Heat, the #8 seed. So guess what? The reporter asked Giannis A, is this season a failure for you? Because they were knocked out in the first round. And this was Giannis' response. Why do you think this would be a failure? When you work, do you get promoted every year? If you don't get promoted, is that year a failure? It's not. It's a journey. Right? It's a journey. We may not have achieved #1, but we become better. Michael Jordan played 15 years in the NBA. He won 6 championships. Was it 9 years a failure? No. It was building blocks to something greater. Building blocks to something greater. Right? It's how you respond that determines your outcome. Now the third one is about influence. So I hope you're getting good insights. So I wanted to share a little bit about my story and my journey in the area of influence and how they can help you accelerate. So when we talk about influence, I was reminded of the conference that Martin was speaking about. Influence, National Speaker Association. This year, 50th anniversary. In 2015, I had the opportunity to stand on stage of the NSA conference, 800 professional speakers. The first time an Asian gets the privilege to represent the Global Speakers Federation. Thank you. But it was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences because that's the crowd. Those are my peers. You know, speaking here with peers are sometimes one of the most nerve-wracking. And I had about 800 professional speakers there. And all this self-imposter syndrome kept coming in. Am I good enough? I mean, who am I? What am I doing here? Washington, D.C., capital of the United States. Who am I? And that was the place, in 5 minutes, I did my AYS speech, at your service speech. For some of you who would like to, I can share that link with you, and I hope as Malaysian, as fellow Asian, it did you proud. But I'm glad I took the courage to just step forth. But sometimes, being on this platform is not comfortable. But someone is there to listen to your message. Someone is there to listen to your voice, to your insight. So again, Martin shared a little bit about the Global Speakers Federation. So that was the current team that Martin had shared about earlier. And I was privileged to be the first Malaysian to also represent the Global Speakers Federation back in 2015. So it is really about an opportunity to say, we can do it. Right? We can do it. You can do it. Most of the time, I have my own self-limiting belief and say, can or not? Boleh ke? Tak boleh lah. Not for me lah. For other people, let them do lah. But I told myself, what if that one message can make a difference? I've messed up many times. And it is true. The generosity of people like Lindsay, Joni, Moni, all the friends in the Speaker Federation, they continue to encourage, continue to say, hey, what? Would you consider this? Would you consider this different approach, right? And that's how I learned. And within here, we have even Lindsay, who's the past president, as you can see from the screen, of the Global Speaker Region. So he's my mentor. He started the journey way longer. And with this, I hope that many more of you will have the opportunity to also lead in your respective areas. Through this journey, it's also about learning to upkeep yourself, build your competence. And I'm really, really delighted to say that I'm also the first Malaysian to receive the Global Speakers Federation, Global Speakers Fellow, Global Speaking Fellow, and also the CSP, which is the Certified Speaking Professional Designation. And again, this is not to say that it's only for John, but I'd like to encourage you on that possibility. If you asked me that question 20 years ago, I would say, you gotta be kidding me. No way! But as we sit here today, I sat down 20 years ago in the same room, and I was inspired by many of the speakers that were here. So again, taking on to that journey. And again, I had this opportunity in Dublin last year when I received it from Martin at the Global Speaker Summit. And again, that journey didn't stop. I also, last year was pretty memorable because I became one of the 7 Master Certified Coach by ICF in Malaysia also. So again, continue to hone your craft, build on your expertise, because that's going to build trust, that's going to build your influence, then you can do more good. Again, part of the 100 Coaches by Marshall Goldsmith. So again, when together people come together, that's the opportunity for you to do more good. So find a platform that you can really influence, because the world needs you. And like what Malaysia said earlier, there's so much work that needs to be happening in the social realm. So this was in Nashville last year, together learning again from great friends, great coaches, speakers, educators, and influencers. So I also support, PATAR, Malaysian chapter, again, as one of the adjunct professors in Taylor's, and again, to continue to do the work in my domain. So again, these are some of the things that I've supported the youth, the next generation of leaders. But the work starts now. So I'd like to encourage you, what platform do you have that you can make a wider difference? This is really close to my heart. One of the social enterprises I've been involved in, together we can change the world. So again, find a platform that you can make a difference. So this platform helps women, children to be empowered, to be self-sustainable. Right? And again, this will be happening in June next month, so I'm excited to be part of the tour to raise funds through conferences to help more opportunity in the causes that we work with. All right? So there you go. So that has led me to travel to 35 different countries as a Malaysian. This is a huge honor to represent all of you and to say that Malaysia boleh. How many of you believe you have that opportunity within you to make that possible? Thank you for your commitment. The last time I asked this, many hands was not raised. But by putting up your hands, it is yourself telling yourself that it is possible. Tomorrow, I'll be off to Switzerland for my 36th country. And my goal is to do close to 50 countries, God permitting, with the opportunity and the opportunity to share. So if a fellow Malaysian can do it, my question to you is, why not you, right? So, where can you have the greatest influence to inspire and make a difference? And to make a difference. Another coaching question, reflection. Now the fourth area is tenacity. You know, having a growth mindset is great, but you need to take action, agree? You need to take action, if not, nothing will happen. And, you know, Kish is like what Shama was saying earlier. What was it? I think it was like 2:30, you sent out a message. Setup is ready. I was like, what time zone am I in now? Did that just miss the convention? Right, I mean, you talk about tenacity. Kish is one of the person that is so passionate, you know, despite whatever things, he still press on, right? And I love, so let's give applause to our convention chair, right? And with support of the organizing team, it was really, really impressive. Now, when it comes to tenacity, I want to share with you another basketball legend friend of mine, Kobe Bryant. Anyone familiar with Kobe Bryant? With the Lakers, right? Devoted his whole career with the LS Lakers. And he has this thing called the Mamba mentality. Mamba mentality. So what is Mamba mentality? So it's about focusing on the process and trusting the hard work when it matters most. So Kobe Bryant was really famous, because he says this, hard work outweighs talent. You can have the talent, but if you do the work, it will bring you result every time. The Mamba mentality is about the 4 a.m. workout. I think Kish could be part of the Mamba mentality group, you know, the 4 a.m. workout. Doing more than the next guy and then trusting in the work you've put in when the time it is to perform. So whatever time it is for you, would you have the Mamba mentality? And for a player like Kobe, who has dedicated his whole life to the art of basketball, unfortunately, he passed on in a plane accident together with his daughter, Gigi Bryant. You know, when we heard the news, Ray and myself, we love basketball, you know. Every time we travel to the States, we get a chance to watch it. It was pretty devastating, well, at least for me, and I'm sure it is for Ray too. Yeah, we grew up loving the game, and when one of our legends like that just passed on, but he became a legend because of the Mamba mentality, the work that he put into to get to where he is. So if you want to accelerate, it's just not about the mindset. Knowing about the mindset is great, but what would you do? If you do the work, the outcomes will be there for you. So that's my challenge to you, right? What would you do? Heroes come and go, but the legends are forever. So as you accelerate, as you become great in the work that you do, as you become the influence and inspiration behind your work, how will you be remembered? So what areas in your work and life can you improve on your tenacity that is going to take you to the next step? So grief, what is G? Growth mindset, what is R? Resilience, what is I? Influence, and what is T? Tenacity. And again, as you go along this, I'm being reminded of my expedition Everest. When I went into the darkness, and you know, in this roller coaster ride, they have these beautiful cameras strategically placed, and they'll take the most amazing picture when you least expect it. When you begin, they say, ah! And they'll ask you, would you like to buy the picture in that moment? But guess what? Thank goodness after round 1, I survived. And it felt pretty okay after that. I mean, there were tension initially, but it was okay. Guess what? I went for 4 more rounds. Right? So anytime, the next time you're going for a roller coaster ride, please invite me. Because from that second, third, and fourth round, I began to be excited. I had this growth mindset, courage, words like this started coming up. And I felt that if I've never given myself permission to try, to experience, to step foot into something that is unknown, I would have never known the opportunity. So along your journey, what you can do is really never forget the people that is closest to you. So that's my wife, my daughter, Chloe. And again, I'm so delighted that they're part of my journey, supporting me in the work that I do, to inspire and influence. And again, the people closest to you are the one that you have to remember to also inspire and lead them on your journey. So, are you ready to accelerate your greed? I can't hear you. Yes. Okay, so what I'd like to encourage you to do is, during the break time, during lunchtime, I'd like you to do this action, right? So look at someone and do this action. Are you, right? Are you ready to accelerate? Give them a high five. All right, practice with your partner right now. Are you ready to accelerate? Give them a high five right now. Okay, so begin. Are you ready to accelerate your greed? Right, your greed. Nothing happens without greed. So I wish you success. I wish you a great journey. If you're not connected yet, here is the QR code to stay connected. It's been a privilege to be of service to all of you. Thank you for the opportunity. And again, remember, 1 year's time, what face will you be seeing?